on the beat.
What's up? It's your host, Queen Supreme, and this is Time Out Podcast. Where the awareness of missing people and teenagers, exploiting young kids, kidnapping is being in the forefront. I want to thank everyone for listening. Let everyone know that this is Kate's story, and it's getting serious, guys. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Time Out Podcast is near to and dear to my heart. It's awareness for missing and exploiting people and kids. So there's going to be graphic details. And if you're 18 or older, I suggest anyone in the room that's not 18 or older not to listen. We're going to go with Kate's story. Kate has been abducted from her home. And Kate is trying to survive. She's been 6 months. And there is a 911 call into Atlanta's police department. And there's a woman there that sees something on her property and wants it off. Well, the canteen, I call it canteen, but it is a trailer for a train that's been stolen. It's on a woman's property. So Officer Sanders is going to check it out. He goes the back way, and he sees exactly what the 911 dispatcher has told him. But let's go to Kate. The dead body is beginning to smell, and it's dark again. And it seems as Kate is getting discouraged. Now that she can tell when it gets dark, there's a crow that pecks on her door right before dusk. And right before dawn, she's looking at the dead body, and it's one of the kidnappers, of course, that she had killed. And she starts to remember his face clear as day. His name was Paul, and he was a young man that was involved in a bank robbery that ended up in a shootout with police. Now, there were 4 men, including Paul, and they robbed the first regional charter bank in Atlanta about 10 years ago. The bank robbers killed 6 officers and 3 hostages. Not only did they get away, but they got away with the money too. Now, about 3 months after the bank robbery, they were caught, and they made bail on behalf of their grandmother, who has somehow got the money and cleaned it, laundered it, and made it become untraceable. As Kate is beginning to remember this case, she remembers more details. They couldn't even prove that the grandma had anything to do with the robbery, but they knew that she did. Yes, Kate was beginning to remember. Her kidnappers were men that she knew. It was clear who had took her. After the men had made bail, they approached Kate with the proposition to represent them. And she told them in a nice way, like, no, I'm not representing you. But they wouldn't take it no for an answer. And they kept harassing her and taunting her and coming up to her job and making it hard for her to live. So she ended up getting a restraining order on all of them. They eventually disappeared because of the restraining order. But this whole time, they had been really studying her every move. Now she laying there next to the dead guy. And now she finally, knows what's going on. Everything is clear to her. And she can't believe it. And she just begins to cry and pray to God because she did nothing to these people. They had no reason to abduct her, take her from her home, beat and rape her. She feels that she has to survive now. And that's with anyone in survival mode. When you are in survival mode and you are realizing what's going on, 9 times out of 10, there isn't even a reason why someone is going to kidnap you. This is something that psychologically has not been proven. Why does someone take someone? Why does someone trade someone for sexual favors? Why would someone beat and rape someone? It's just not been proven to have an proper answer or equivalent to any kind of common sense. You have to be out of your mind. And Kate is now more determined to survive. And she just cries. She's lonely. She's tired. She's tired. And we all get tired of things sometimes. Many times in a situation where it's out of our control, we get tired. And so, meanwhile, Officer Sanders is coming around the back of the cornfield, and he spots the 911 dispatcher claim. The boxcar is there. It's kind of like a dirty yellow color, and it has the letters GHQ on there. And it's on each side, and below in the corner is a boxcar number, and he calls it in. And they identify it as a stolen boxcar that belonged to a train off of Amtrak. And it's been missing for over 7 months. So these guys planned that out to the T. And the next call the officer made was for backup. As he gets in his car and goes all the way to the front of the property, he has to inform the owner of what's going on and get her to safety. They still have no idea that what's inside of the boxcar. They have no idea that there's a missing person in there. When we come back from break, we'll see what they discover. All this and more on Time Out. You don't want to miss it. I'm your host, Queen Supreme. And we are back. This is Timeout Podcast, where we are making awareness for missing and exploited kidnapping people and children. Thank you so much for joining me. There may be some hope for Kate. If you are just now tuning in, Kate knows who has abducted her. She has put all the pieces together. Officer Sanders has took the back way. He sees the boxcar. He's called for backup. He's confirmed that this is a stolen boxcar. What will happen next? As he gets the homeowner to the door and confirm with her that he does in fact see and has reported the boxcar. She is terrified. And she said, well, are y'all gonna get this off of my property? And he assured her yes. But the property is so big and there's a fence around it. So they have to he had to call for backup because they're gonna have to do a removal of that. It's getting dark or is dark. So they're going to have to schedule that for in the morning, but they're going to still attempt tonight. They don't know that someone is in there. So basically, they don't feel like that there is a threat or harm being done right now. Yes, the boxcar is stolen. And yes, she wants it off of her property. But the property is so big that she has no choice. They have no choice but to wait for backup. So they get her to safety. And when they get her to safety, they drive her to a local friend's house, which is a couple of miles up. As they get her to safety, they see a black SUV going down coming from where they just left. And Officer Sanders said, I wonder if that black SUV has anything to do with that boxcar. So once he drops off the owner of the property, he goes back, waiting for backup. And as sure as shit, that black SUV is on the property. Now, I want you to keep in mind that they don't know anything about Kate being in this boxcar. So there's no reason to be alarmed about the black SUV. Officer Sanders waits for backup, and backup comes. When backup comes, they take out a map of the property and they see 3 entrance points. And those are the entrance points that they're going to enter. The black SUV has entered the back entrance points, but there was no entrance point there. They have cut a hole in the fence where they can drive through to get straight to the boxcar without letting anybody know. Suspicious. Police are very suspicious. So before they can even get to getting into there, they see that that's the entrance. Now, the black SUV has parked inside of the cornfield, and there's so much corn field there that the black SUV can hide, park, go deep enough and park. The 3 remaining men are with their grandmother, and she is cussing and fussing, saying that they have effed up, that they deserve to be in jail now, that they are for sure to get caught, and they are trying to get Kate out of there. She has a funny feeling that something's not right. They have no idea that the property is being surveillanced by the police in the front, but they're going to get a rude awakening. As they get out the car and they have a pillowcase and they're getting ready to open the boxcar and they're getting ready to remove Kate. Well, when they open the boxcar, Kate is asleep and they hurry up and put the pillowcase over her face. She starts to scream. They knock her out as soon as she starts to scream. The grandmother says, "What is this mess in here?" Because there's the dead body in there. And then she slaps her oldest son and said, "Are you stupid? How the hell could you leave this in here? This would trace back to us." So she asked one son to get that shit, get that mess up, as they put Kate in the black SUV and close up the box cart. It took every bit of 30 minutes for the police officers to meet the black SUV. And Kate is in the trunk of the SUV, and the dead body is there as well. Kate is knocked out. The police pull over the SUV as they are coming out of the cornfield and ask them what the hell is going on. They said that they seen the boxcar on the property and had suspicions that it was a part of their trains. The grandmother has this shit worked out to the T to where she convinces the police that they were just concerned in seeing was it their stolen boxcar. The police say, yes, it's stolen. And how do you own a train? And the grandmother does all the talking. And Officer Sanders noticed there's blood on the younger brother's face. So as the grandmother is talking, he interrupts her and says, "Hey, what's that on your face, son?" And she looks over and he says, "Oh, nothing." Where? He's like confused. And the grandmother said, "Oh, I made spaghetti." And he's a messy boy. And the police says, "No, ma'am, that looks like blood." And he takes his hand and smirks and gets the blood off of his cheek, smells it. He said, "Don't smell like tomato paste. I need y'all to step out the car." The grandmother says, "But we have to give you the paperwork that won't be necessary, officer. Can we give you the paperwork showing that this is our boxcar? And we were going to call you and let you know. Please let us show you." Kate and the dead body are in the trunk, and they made them get out of the car. Next week, when we return, will they search the vehicle and find Kate? Or will the grandmother talk their way out of a kidnap, a murder, and a stolen boxcar? Please hit me up at superrealjestsavage@gmail.com or super the real super savage at TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. Also, please subscribe to my blog talk, Supreme Podcast Hits. I'm your host, Queen Supreme, and we have 2 more episodes of Time Out. Never stop looking for your loved ones. And if you are been kidnapped or are taken from your home, never give up the fight. Thank you so much for listening. Till next time, stay safe, love one another, and be aware.